dude. Hey, can I
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays postgame show. Danny Marang, not Brandon Sprague. He'll be there. He had to run away for 2 seconds. We'll get into it with him here in just a moment. Excuse me. The Portland Trailblazers do exactly what they need to do. Get some young guys out there. Get some things to kind of work through. And ultimately drop a game. 114-101, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Blazers, if I'm now correct, have lost 16 of their last 20. That's 16 of 20. Ooh, boy. That's stanky. That's very, very stanky. Brendan Dunbar says, who does the intro song beat? I need to put it in the notes. I've got a license for like 200,000 songs or something like that. And I know the artists. It's something like Neverland by some island or sunshine or something like that. I'll see if I can put it in the comments going forward. That way it's always there for you guys kind of going forward, but it's another one. Eduardo Torres says, in another solid game. Yeah, maybe not quite great shooting the ball, but I thought his floor game was pretty good until they started putting a lot of pressure on him. They turned it over a little bit, but it's kind of funny that the bench was actually competent. As wild as that was, you got 29 points on relative efficiency from the bench, which was kind of needed tonight because, I mean, Nurk 5 of 17, Norm 5 of 14, Nas 3 of 9, Simon 6 of 15, and Cov 6 of 9. Probably Cov's best game of the season all around. It was just really productive and active and made things hard for Mobley. Cooper Ching says, I mean, at this point, we want them to lose, right? Yeah. No, I'm I'm actively like, all right, you did what you're supposed to do. You went out there, you did the things, and then you lost. Most importantly, they hit the over. 215 was the overnight. But let's go ahead and double check and make sure that it did, in fact, clear. This is always good to do. A stalling technique while Brandon gets back. Open bets. It did hit. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You love to see it. Love to see it. Good times. 215. Screw it. We'll get into it. Could Jalen Smith be a target? I mean, he could. But that's not really changing anything. That's kind of how that one goes. I mean, good depth. Absolutely good depth. Sorry, I'm still dealing with this awful COVID nightmare. Overall, I think you saw what makes Cleveland kind of look special defensively when they care. Mobley was just kind of everywhere. He only finished with 2 blocks, and I swear to God he affected at least 10 more. Quite the impact performance for a guy who only had 18 and 8. I say that he only had 18 and 8, but he had 18, 8, 3, 2, and 1. Jared Allen went 5 of 6 and had 13 and 13. That's a hell of a backline to deal with. And there's Senor Sprague. Welcome.
We had a mini emergency.
Everything okay?
Oh yeah, nothing bad. Just like a mini emergency.
Little blowout.
Well, I wish it. Well, I mean, it is like dealing with shit. It's just not actual shit.
Oh God. Good times.
We talking about Jared Allen?
I was there. I was stalling appropriately.
Hey, I'll say this. We're going to dive into some Portland stuff. I really like that team.
The Cleveland team is just fun, right?
It's fun, and I do feel like they could be a trade away. I'm going to throw one out there, even though I think Danny kind of poked a hole in it. 2 firsts, Kevin Love, Colin Sexton to Boston for Jaylen Brown. If you had a Jaylen Brown of that team with Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, my God.
It would be fun. You know what? Speaking of fun, I have a question here that requires a use.
Oh, yes.
It requires a use. We're busting out tinfoil time. It's been a little while.
It's tinfoil time, baby.
Svet Lozer says, "What's the point of force feeding Nurk?" My tinfoil hat take?
Yes, feed it to us.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Blazers aren't winning games when they're force feeding Jusuf Nurkic. It is a stealth tank. Jusuf Nurkic getting 16, 17, 18 shots out on straight post-ups. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very, very easy one to see.
So our theory right now, we're channeling our inner tinfoil here.
Yes, absolutely.
Jusuf Nurkic is being directed to shoot more.
Hey, hey, you know what? We're gonna feature you, big fella.
They know as they're telling him this, they're setting him up.
Sure.
Wow. Hold on. I gotta absorb all this real quick.
You gotta turn on the radiation.
Oh my God. I love it. I'm all in. You convinced me.
Yeah, he was not good.
He was awful tonight. But look, I want to defend him. I defended him on the playback. I'm gonna do it again. This is just an opinion from one guy who experienced it and knows a lot of people that have had it.
Mm-hmm.
COVID kicked my ass for 2 days. Now it did not do to me what it's done to Danny. But for 2 days I felt like shit. And I there's a part of me that's like watching him play. He's struggling, but like how much of the post-COVID stuff is he dealing with in terms of breathing and just not feeling as great? Because I will say, even that first day after I kind of kicked it, really, my body still felt like super sore and like tired.
I mean, I'm still coughing. I still don't have like my lung capacity. I'm still kind of getting my butt kicked. Trust me, as I cough endlessly during the show. It sucks. And so, yeah, Nurk being a little gassed, I get, which kind of makes force feeding him even weirder. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's
they know he'll miss. He's tired.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a nice little give and take. Eduardo says, "Will those hats be a part of the merch?" Listen, when I turn on merchandise for Jack Ramsays, you damn sure better believe we'll have some tinfoil hats. We'll have some tinfoil hats, some tinfoil jackets. We'll figure out tinfoil for everything. Just
ties.
Just reflective stuff everywhere. Tinfoil snapbacks.
Man, I'll make my headphones tinfoil.
Just don't get wired. I want to talk about Nassir Little tonight. I thought tonight was a bit of a regression for Nas. 3 of 9, 8 points, 8 boards, 2 of 4 from 3, which is the thing you kind of look at. But he had 2 transition opportunities, Brandon, where he kind of smoked the finish. Once was on Jared Allen, the other was on Evan Mobley, and I thought after that he played a little skittish. He was not nearly as aggressive, and I think for the first time, really, I think we saw in his career where he got punched in the face. Mm-hmm. He didn't back down, but he was more, let me go ahead and step back and kind of reassess the situation.
Well, counter thought.
Okay.
He's had a couple games where he's missed these bunnies.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Mobley's a beast. I'm not saying that having what looks like maybe an all-time shot blocker down in the paint doesn't make you think a little different, but we've played sports, right? Even if at a much lower level, when you have like those moments where you just lose a little confidence, it changes everything. So maybe it's a combination of what you're saying, and then like he's also maybe just not having that same confidence because he's missed a couple of those bunnies.
Yeah, and I think it's not impacting his game, but the clear kind of decision choices or decision trees, I should say, that we've seen from Nassir Little, which is either I'm going to run you over and I'm going to be as physical as hell, or I know I'm going to go to this spot and then go to this move. Like it's not fluid yet, but it's still kind of working its way there. Yeah. But I thought those decision trees kind of ran into walls tonight. Like he's going, I'm not going to force that. I'm not going to be aggressive. And I think, honestly, I think you're right. I think a little bit of that is who was inside and the control that Allen and Mobley displayed at pretty inopportune moments for Nassir. But also, I think he's struggled with his shot a little bit, maybe his shot selection. And this is that whole point of like trying to figure things out. That's what we're looking for with the young guys. Ant didn't have like this stellar night tonight, but being able to figure out what they're doing and how to counter. I liked what I saw from him as far as like being aggressive, getting downhill, attacking good shot blockers like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100% there. It's an interesting night to kind of watch both Nant and Nas. Nas had some moments where I was like, okay, maybe that'll get him going. Mm-hmm. And then like it kind of revert back. Whereas like it's to what you're kind of referring to here. Like Ant just was aggressive and didn't even allow an off shooting. I mean, what was he? 1 for 6 before he made that final three kind of at the end there. But he got in technical. He was really steamed. We hadn't seen it. Dan, we've never seen that kind of anger from him, right? Like we've seen him play with a little edge, but like
no, he was justifiably pissed.
He was seething. Like he looked like I've seen that look. He looked like somebody who's about to black out from anger. And, he was able to kind of respond, get a 3, kind of feel like FU. And like, I know ultimately it doesn't win you the game, but I think young players playing with that swagger is important.
If I was going to question anything, I thought his shot selection was fine. Not his best shot selection game when he's not on an absolute heater. But for the most part, I thought it was like a B plus, B average shot selection game. Where I was a little, the turnovers. Garland kind of got into him and the length of Mobley and Allen again. Mobley, Allen, and Markkanen really does sound like a law firm, for being honest.
That's pretty good.
Which it's a difficult team to pass through and over just because you have so much size everywhere.
Yeah.
But
turnovers were a problem, but let's give him some credit.
That's what I was going to say. He ended up with 7 assists. He should have had 14 or 15.
Yes, I agree with that.
He gift wrapped.
Yep.
So many shots in the night. It was his best setup game of his career.
Yeah.
When Rodney Hood was here, there was probably like a 5 or 6 game stretch when Rodney was still kind of working his way back in, and Ant hit him on the just button over and over and over and over again. I texted back and forth to Ant. I'm like, does he owe you dinner? He says, yes. I told him after tonight's game he owes me dinner because Ant was. You look at Ant's box score, he was doing like 8 points, 1 assist, 7 points, 1 assist, 10 points, 2 assists, and he like Rodney like no BS missed like 8-9 straight shots that Ant just set up for him. Some of the best passes he had in his career to that point.
Yeah,
and Ant was like, he is killing me. Rodney is killing me, and it was always one of those things where it's like tonight. I went back to that, and I was like, that felt like a little bit of that tonight. But he, again, talking about the positive side of things, he was finding guys off the bounce, which is one of the things that I'm really looking for while everybody's out, and keeping his dribble alive without losing it.
Yeah.
He had some good possessions where he dribbled deeper into the paint, was able to relocate, rondoing it, so to speak. But then he also got a little loose trying to take on some double teams, but that's how you learn. Take on those double teams. Which hand do you need to tighten up? Where's that ball need to be? Those are the kind of things that, in a lost season, air quotes, those are the kind of things that you want to see because you get those live reps.
He makes me more and more really not move away from the trade stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I keep telling myself, what does this team need? Now he's gonna be a heck of an asset. Like you can see a lot of teams looking at this kid and saying, damn, how much better can he get? But I'm also selfishly looking from the Portland angle. I mentioned it in the last one, having a Jordan Clarkson-like player.
It's not a bad thing.
It's a nice thing to have. And if he's able to start acquiring like more vision and get more, good looks for these guys, like having a player off your bench that can do that that's tough to find. Like he's becoming quite the talent watching him night in and night out.
Are you sure that you're landing firmly on the you want to keep him train? And it's just it's solely based on his play?
No. I'm not. No, I'm not saying 100%, but man, see that meter?
Pick it up a little bit.
Yes, I mean he's been the real deal. I know tonight was not his greatest shooting night, but he, as you highlighted, he did a lot of good things and was still able to kind of make an impact for his team. And Dame doesn't have a ton of those, but there are some of those nights where Dame doesn't have it, but he impacts things for his team. That's what you need from good players. And I thought tonight Anfernee did that.
The rest of the guys are really,
Bob Covington had a great night.
No, I was talking about the rest of the young guys. I don't think that they matter enough. Like Watford's fun. Ellaby played a couple minutes and did some things.
I think it matters for Watford.
He's like right on that line of like, I could see him being a rotation guy in the NBA.
I could see a team seeing him and going, here's a 2-year deal. Come be with us. Like a legit, come be a rotational guy.
Okay. I can vibe with that. So in that vein, I thought he flashed some things tonight, playmaking wise, defensively. He keeps smoking bunnies, poor kid, but it kind of is what it is. Adam Croy says they sacrificed GTJ, so they had better keep Ant. They didn't sacrifice Gary, guys. Gary wasn't coming back.
Yeah, Neil didn't want to pay him.
Not only did Neil not want to pay him, he wasn't going to be happy here behind CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
It was like a non-starter. They wanted to go somewhere where he could get some minutes and get some burn, get some shots up. Just kind of where it goes. Eduardo says, Lakers so lucky being able to get Malik Monk on a minimum. Malik Monk's always been talented, guys. It's been other issues that have held him back.
I had that game on while we were watching the Blazer game and
7-8 for 3 and was just bonkers.
He had a filthy putback dunk to really kind of put a stamp on the game. LeBron was amazing tonight, man. I know I don't want to get too sidetracked from Blazer stuff, but
no, I'm just looking at like Laker Twitter right now. They're still losing their minds. So
no, they played a great game. I'm still not obviously putting them in some category, but if AD's healthy, it's still not a team you're excited to play, is it? LeBron and Anthony Davis?
No, but also Anthony Davis won't do what LeBron's doing at the 5.
Well, they've got real flaws, no doubt. Malik Monk is
he's fun.
Amazing. Yeah.
Otherwise, looking at this game, I don't think there's a ton to take from it other than, Bob Covington was good tonight. Probably had his best game as a Blazer this season.
Well, the effort was there. That was a big takeaway, right? It's a team that's
he bothered Mobley early in the game a ton.
Danny, they doubled him up on offensive rebounds.
Yeah, which I did not see coming. I thought they were going to get murdered on the glass.
They also tied him for points in the paint. Like I thought those were 2 areas they were going to get murdered on, and collectively they gave a damn. This isn't a good enough team to win the game.
Yeah, it was an interesting game because you look at how kind of it played out with Nurk being so inefficient, excuse me. Norm really wasn't great. Nas really wasn't great. But you had Zeller 3 of 5, Dennis Smith Jr. 4 of 8, CJ Ellaby 2 of 3. You had some other guys picking up some slack, and all of them were inside the paint because for the Blazers, only person who took a 3 off the bench was Ben McLemore, and he was 1 of 5.
Yeah.
And the Blazers actually shot well from 3, which you look at what Cleveland did. They shot 49% from the floor, 44% from 3, but only put up 114 because they missed 10 free throws, as did the Blazers. Excuse me, the Blazers missed 8.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like this weird hodgepodge game where you're trying to figure some things out, but nothing really adds up on a night like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like I want to sit here and go, I can pull this straight line. Nas this, Ant that. Watford gave you this, and then kind of like, here's what you project forward going into the next games. But I don't think they're at that place, and really, I hate ringing this stupid bell. I genuinely do. It's just Groundhog Day. Like I'm like pulling and trying to find that other strand. Like, okay, this is cool. This is something that we can go over in a post-game show that doesn't require me going back and watching tape and going, oh, this is a cool clip. Let's take a look at this. Lamar did that the other night. I thought it was great, but it's like you're just holding on for that one little nugget.
Look, this might be an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go for it.
It sounds like what you're looking for are things from Chauncey. Like you're looking for a collective to show you something, right? And while we can agree that this team is not very good, when you're describing what you're talking about, that is where I think watching a coach, even moving with spare parts, seeing something from the coach that sticks out to you.
About putting guys in a different spot or
I don't know,
highlighting certain things. Like right now, what they're highlighting is Jusuf Nurkic post-ups.
Oh, okay, so
I just have to feel like there's a reason behind
stuff.
that.
Oh, well, maybe there is.
But even then, going to a straight post-up, you eliminate mistakes, so to speak. Part of the reason why they went to Carmelo and Anfernee post-up so much was that at the bare minimum, they knew they would get an okay look. I don't think you can make that same claim for posting up Jusuf Nurkic, especially against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So I think there's something to that effect and to what you're saying, but I just don't know how much of it they're actively pushing or selling or advocating because of how unique a state the team is in.
But I don't know if I disagree with what you just said, but this is an interesting year for first-year coaches, right? Like
Ime may not make it another week, legitimately.
People were pissed. And I'll be honest, I was kind of one of them was like, bring Ime home. Like, that's a great story to sell to the fans. And, he's been an assistant for years. He kind of looks like Brian Shaw right now. Like, it looks like it's that level. And I'm blown away by that. And
I talked to 3 different agents last night.
Yeah.
After they dropped the New York game with on RJ Barrett 3. They all said the same thing. He will not make it through the All-Star break. And I was just like,
It's
that bad? Like I knew it wasn't great, but it's that bad?
That's got to be toxic in the locker room then too. That's not just
with a brand new GM.
Because they're
weird. Why does this all sound so familiar?
Danny, they're losing these one possession games. Like they have so many
they're
games.
2-10 in like games within 5 points.
It's unbelievable. They should have such a better record, and they lose these games every single time. But my point is, people do want to see proof about coaching.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, and if their decision secretly is to feed Nurk, that's fine. It's a tinfoil idea by you. That's okay.
Sure.
There's still part of me that believes like that's kind of still the wrong approach, because even if Ant gets more shots, I don't think this team is going to change trajectories.
No, but they might win a game more too.
Right, and maybe that's ultimately what it is. But
it's the stealth tank, baby. I'm going to push this as hard as I can.
But Danny, you have an opportunity with Nas and Ant to really run some stuff and try to get these guys good looks. And
I think you can flip that switch after you trade those guys.
Okay, maybe that's what they ultimately do. But
I think come post All-Star break, Nurk cover out of here.
Most people don't like the Chauncey hire, and I think there's a big chunk of people that don't even feel like they can tell one way or the other if he's good or bad.
Yeah, I am at that point of like, oh, he hasn't had really anybody healthy.
No, I know.
They had a little stretch. Like Dame was never really okay for him.
Yep.
So, and I expected there to be some issues and some flaws to begin with, especially when he's like, oh, yeah, no, Scott Brooks is my lead assistant. I was definitely sitting there going, But, like I said, that they are mostly sending a message of they're going to tank the season. I have just kind of done this. Rinsed my hands of any and all expectations right now.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
And that has made watching these games and like taking it all in much more enjoyable.
Much easier.
Being able to flip that switch of like, okay, they're not so brain dead that they don't get. Because if they had chased one of those play-in spots, I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my ever.
Oh, honestly, there would have been an hour podcast, and it would not have been kind to that team and that organization for that decision. The one thing I've reminded myself the last 3 games is I remember us doing these shows the 10th, 11th game of the year. And at that point, I don't know about you, but deep down inside, I was like, this team kind of sucks. You know what I mean?
But like, Downer Danny was in full force.
I wasn't like full on.
But I also had to put on
fighting against it, though. I
was
like, no, not yet. But I'm like, every night we would do this. I'm like, I hated watching that game. I hated watching that team. This sucks. I don't want to talk about this team.
Yeah, I remember I was like, man, the vibes are not good. And people were like, oh, no, they're just trying to shake Terry's old bad habits. got a line of that shit for a month. Just,
dude, that was really an opinion. Terry's bad habits were the problem with this team. Imagine the opinions we had about that general manager and how many people tried to defend that dude. And then we watch this shit show unravel, and it's like, it's, there's not even like a follow-up opinion to that.
It's just, man.
What do you say?
Bob here says, my problem is you can say embrace the take all you want, but you have to make roster changes. And with roster changes, it's going to be a fresh breath of air, and you will get wins that you don't want. Oh, no, you won't.
It depends who you bring in.
Listen, and even if they bring in good players, if they're
Dame's
being brought
in,
number one, they know Dame's not playing. They know the assignment.
I would guess that they're not doing the CJ trade until the summer, because you're not going to want to make some huge splash now because of that reason. So you trade away the middle of the road asset. You bring in a bottom tier, maybe reclamation project named Marvin, and it doesn't work. And you go into the summer and then make the big CJ trade. Dame's healthy. Bada boom, bada bing.
I have a feeling they're going to swap Nurk out at the deadline, but Danny, you may want to embrace yourself, because if and when Dame comes back with a possible roster change, his hair will be on fire. That's cool. He'll be strapped to a board. So, if Dame comes back on this road trip, I will be floored. I will be absolutely floored.
Oh, I don't think he's going,
because it is just the perfect time to be like,
they're
listen,
10 games below now.
They're now exactly.
That's
what I was. You and I talked about this the other day. I was like, listen, as soon as they hit 10 games, the additional Nets game like being tossed in here is like,
they're about to get their ass kicked by the Nets, bro.
And
game's gonna be ugly.
And that's the thing is that's on a second game of a back-to-back.
I know.
And before they go out on the trip, and I'm just there going.
And they're going to lose to Sacramento too, and then they're going to get their ass kicked by the Nets, and then they're going to go lose 6 in a row on the road.
They're going to go like 3-3 on the road. It's going to be something stupid.
Danny, they have 2 road wins all year. It's the least by any team in the NBA. What did tell me? You said this the other day. Tell me what you tell the audience what you told me when I hopped on for the pre. What website did you run 3?
Oh, Tankathon? Yeah.
Okay.
I fully believe. Like, I ran it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and each time it landed in the top 3.
So what's Tankathon? Explain that to maybe somebody who hasn't been.
For anybody who doesn't know, it's just your mock draft odds website where you can just kind of roll it with the current ping pong ball settings with the percentage ties to them. And Portland's anywhere between 7.5% or 14%. Actually, I think Tankathon updates.
Yes.
Regularly or immediately. It does. So Portland is now tied for. I'm sorry, they are in 7th. A 7.5% chance. I will run it right now. Boop, boop,
oh
boop,
my god.
Oh my.
What?
I am not touching it. I am not touching it. I am not touching it. I have got to actually pull this up. I'm going to try and do this live. And
Tell me it was the number 1 pick.
It was. I could actually grab my screen. Hold on.
Yes.
That
is awesome.
Let me see.
Screen grab it, baby. Send it out.
Literally ran it once. Oh, jeez. Display capture? Yeah, display capture.
Hey, they're only a half game above New Orleans, which means, and Indiana. And they're only a game above Oklahoma City and now 4 games above the Rockets.
There you go.
They are almost one of the worst teams in the entire association.
Bloop.
Is it weird that I'm liking this? Like, there's a weird, twisted part of me that's rooting.
This is where I was trying to sell you the hope thing, my guy.
Man, I'm in. Let's do it.
I literally just...
I'm gonna read so many mock drafts tomorrow.
Oh, God.
I know I told you to sell me the open. I was like, that doesn't sell shit. And today I'm already like, yes.
It sells everything.
They're 5 games from having the best odds for the number 1 pick in the draft.
Oh, God. It's just, it's glorious. So, yeah, people are laughing right now. It's, I mean, that's it, though. That's a 7.5% chance. I ran it once. Literally sat down and ran it once. How dumb is that? That's
called divine intervention.
It's just
We weren't even going to talk about the tankathon thing. I just randomly brought it up, and then you run the simulation. We get the number 1 pick.
I would full on Super Saiyan ascend. If come draft lottery that actually happened.
Oh my God.
I would demand the Portland Trailblazers send me to every draft lottery from here on out.
And then you hear the rumors that they're going to take Chet Holmgren number 1
Jesus
because
Christ.
he projects as a hybrid Hakeem Olajuwon and Kevin McHale.
Remember when I said I was going to ascend? I was going to ascend and then fall on my face from 30 feet. Somebody said in the chat, I ran it and we were 8th.
Well, ours was first, so that's,
that's one that matters.
Final answer.
God, I hate this stupid cough. It won't go away. Bryce asks, why is Greg Brown not playing? I don't know. That is a question that I have that no one has been able to give me a great answer on, which typically means like he's not maybe getting things as far as like understanding like scheme wise stuff that he needs to because athletically and I think just naturally he just makes plays. Like he does some things you're like, holy crap. But I think it's just because of his innate talent and not necessarily understanding the game quite as well. He's raw. When we had him on the show, he said he's raw. He needs to learn so much. And I think that's kind of the case.
Is he okay? Forgive me for maybe being wrong on this. Is he a two-way guy?
No, he was drafted.
It was just
late
Watford.
draft. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Watford was the all of the Texas freaks all got drafted.
Greg would be such a great guy to have like in a local G League affiliate.
Yeah, he just needs burn. Like
go let him play with the Vancouver Ravios. Like isn't that what we're doing?
The Ravios?
Yeah, dude. Vancouver's the Ravios, bro.
I stopped keeping up with the G League teams a while ago.
Well, I was talking about Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, okay. The team you're talking
about. I'm talking about Derek and Nick Ravio. Yeah, the Ravio boys, man. Just name the G League affiliate after him. Make Derek Ravio like
just do it. Okay, I can go with that.
Yes. Let him be the halftime show even. Let him do the toiletsy thing while he's dribbling a basketball. I'd be all in on that.
Oh, God. I'm not touching Tankathon again between now and
No, you leave it. It got number 1. Like, that's the screenshot. You're done. You can't mess with that. I'm serious. You can't go back to that website.
Eduardo says Mike Rich got to ask Chauncey next game. Listen, I can ask him. I can go into the press conferences, guys. I don't think it's that. I'm not going to go into a press conference. Nobody's going to go in a press conference and go, hey, in this season that you're tanking right now and you're playing sideways, why isn't Greg Brown playing?
Yeah.
That's something if I was, around the team and around players more, I could be like, hey, what's up with Greg and get a better idea of what's going on. But in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't really matter. Thank you all so much. This is kind of a weird, goofy show. And I imagine, again, I hate to belabor the point, but like until trades are made or until concrete, evidence on Dame being totally and completely shut down and CJ not being active, Groundhog Day. It's just kind of how it's going to go. So we appreciate you riding with us. Like,
it's been fun.
It has been. Like, we joke about, oh God, not this again. But it's cathartic. It's like it allows us to be like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Like, those of you that have come watch the watch parties with us, you've seen us at the highest of highs and Ant, going bonkers for 43 and them getting waxed by, what was it, 29? Yeah. Like a not even remotely competitive game where we had Joe in there and we just kind of had some drinks and just bullshit the entire time.
Just fucked around, yeah.
Like that's just kind of have how it's going to go. Gabriel Law asked, do we have any updates on the GM search? I did hear a little ditty that Mark Eversley is still
interested, or they're still like
both ways.
I mean, Joe may get the job. You would be doing a very big disservice to the organization
if you aren't looking at every option.
You are not interviewing multiple people for that job. This is the most pivotal point in this organization's run in like 20 years. Yeah. And you cannot mess this up. Like, you can't take this lightly.
So, but beyond that, that's all I've heard. I haven't heard any confirmation one way or another on whether or not they're going to stick with him. I would say picking up Eversley would signal not that not signing Joe wouldn't signal it, but Eversley would signal it that they care a little bit more. because you got to pay Chicago to get him out of his contract, and you're going to have to pay him a pretty substantial amount of money to come take his job.
Are you more excited for one or the other, Cronin versus Eversley, or not?
I think I would lean towards Eversley just because of his relationships. You saw what he helped build in Chicago with AK.
Yep.
So, and damn right, I did hear a little ditty.
Yeah, you don't hear people say that like that term anymore.
Listen, man, the later in the night, the sicker I feel, the more like the Texan in me starts to trickle out. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Oh, you add a few beers to me, and I'll start dropping some reckons and y'alls. That's what
really?
Oh yeah, I lived in West Texas for 4 years, and
I can't keep up where you lived. It's Beaverton, it's California, it's Texas, man.
I've been to over 50 countries.
You got a personality for every place you've ever been.
I actually do.
Like 55 different versions of Danny Marang.
I'll tell you this when we'll get out of here on this. This
Okay.
is a great one. When I got to North Dakota the first time, a buddy of mine took me to a party. And
by the way, quick question.
Yeah.
Quick question. For every place you live, state or country, whether you're ashamed of it or not, did you adapt like the accents or the way that they spoke?
This is where I was going with this.
Okay.
So anytime I got to a new place and I was going to be there for a significant amount of time, I used to play a game called the Exchange Student. And I would fake an accent from wherever, somebody else would pick it, and I would try to keep that accent going like for as long as I could. So when I got to North Dakota, I went to this party at the sorority house at UND, and my name was Danny O'Neill. I was an exchange student from Dublin, Ireland. So I walked in, I was like, shit, I'm gonna fake this. And I went in there, and they're like, oh yeah, this is our friend Danny. And I'm like, hey, Don, my name's Danny O'Neill. I'm an exchange student from Ireland. I'm here at the aviation school here at UND. And they ate it up. They had never heard anybody with any kind of accent like that, and they ate it up. And I kept it going not only that night, but for 6 weeks.
When did you stop being Irish?
So, not around them. I mean, if it was anywhere else, I was me. But
I was gonna say, like, was it the whole?
No,
did you just evolve into the whole time?
So my buddy was dating one of the girls at the sorority house, and she didn't even know because I had just gotten there, and I got pretty hammered one night, and I went from I'm having a grand old time, I just like stuttered and stammered like that, and I was like, hey Nate, hey, throw me another beer, dog, and I was like, oh shit, like I just completely checked out of character.
You thought they said cut, and you were like, nope, I'm good.
I was like, roll it, we're good. And I was, the guilt on my face was like, oh no.
That's hilarious.
There was a house full of very angry women.
Well,
it was.
I would feel like they'd actually get over it quick and appreciate the effort that you took into 6 weeks is a long time.
It was a long time. I was like, dog, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Like, this is going to get to me. That was the longest I ever did it. Most times, I barely made it through the night because most times I was drinking way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to a new place, you're in the military, it's kind of what you do. So we'll get out of here on that very dumb story. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate you. Love you. If you haven't already, please like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. I'm asking for it. Please, if you're still listening and you haven't subscribed to either a podcast feed or a YouTube or both, please help us do it. We definitely want you to do it. We did break 2,300 subs here on YouTube, and our podcast downloads are coming back up now that I'm, or I should say now that we're down doing this again. So thank you all so very much. We appreciate you. Gabriel Law says, what other podcasts do you recommend? I'll tell you right now, as far as the guy that I listen to, it's Richmond. Richmond's the homie. He looks at things in a different way and present things in a different light on Locked On Blazers. And you've got Gunderson and Hyken who do the Bulls versus Blazers. So those are the guys that I work with and I'm around and talk to a lot more. So, but there's a billion Blazers podcasts. There's so freaking many.
A lot of Blazer podcasts out there. A lot of good options.
There's one for anyone.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're looking for. If you hate listening to the pessimistic Danny, there's plenty of very optimistic Sunshine and Rainbows podcasts out there and everything.
Dave
else in
and Dia
between.
do a good job on
Yes.
the Blazers Edge one. There's a lot of really good options.
There's a million options. So thank you all so very much. Remember to tell Sprague here that he needs to get his own golf podcast now. You can find us on social media at Jack Ramsays.
I would actually
at
be
Danny
geeked
Marang.
about talking golf, man.
We'll get you on with Simons at the turn. At Brandon Sprague. We'll catch you guys later. You'll have a fantastic night, a wonderful